Don't settle. Just move on. Stop wasting your life. Have you ever heard this marriage advice? And maybe have you ever wondered if it is right for you? I have so many individual clients who start working with me and they share that they feel like they're settling in their relationship, that things aren't getting better or they're actually just getting worse over the years. They tell me they talk to their friends about their struggles and their friends tell them they deserve better. They should just leave their marriage. They say they've been seeing posts on social media that really resonate with them and encourage them to go and get what they deserve. I completely agree that we deserve all the love, healthy conflict, communication, connection, everything we desire. And I also really worry about the blanket statement, don't settle. Today, I want to share why this message can be empowering and how it can be really troublesome too. Knowing this, you can approach this advice in a way that leads to clarity and growth for you specifically. I am Lindsay. This is Loving with Intention. Let us dive right in. And I want to start by really emphasizing that I am not saying that don't settle, move on is the wrong advice. I'm not saying you should always stay in your marriage or relationship. And I want to give the reminder that none of my content applies to unsafe or abusive relationships. Nothing in this episode is referring to anyone in those situations, and I'm sending so much love if you are. This topic is also nuanced, just like most things are. There are timelines to consider. There are, varying needs with different individuals, different desires. And I also don't believe that every relationship is meant to stay together. But I do believe that so many people separate, break up, divorce when they could have had so much more. I don't always do an upfront disclaimer like this one, but I feel like this could get really taken out of context. So we are just addressing this right out of the gates. So I truly believe that don't settle, go get what you deserve. I believe that this message comes from a place of love and that it is super well intentioned. At the core of this message, it really is about empowerment and reminding people of their self-worth. It encourages men, it encourages women to believe that they deserve the kind of love and respect and happiness in their relationships, everything that they desire. And that is so beautiful. Like I said, 10,000% on board with this. For someone stuck in a marriage that feels challenging, unfulfilling, or totally one-sided, of course, this message resonates. It is permission giving, it's validating, it's actually empowering that you can go and get what you truly deserve. This message, in a sense, it kind of offers hope. If you are feeling lonely or unappreciated, unsupported, undesired, unheard, don't settle reassures you that you're not wrong for wanting more and that you deserve to be treated with care and kindness, which is so beautiful because you totally, totally do. And as a blanket piece of advice, I think that it totally oversimplifies how complex relationships are. When we zoom out and look at relationship struggles, we see so many patterns that are created by both partners. And these patterns can often be shifted even if one person dives into doing the growth work, which if you've been here before, you know I'm always talking about. Don't settle. It can also send the message that your marriage is fundamentally flawed, which totally overlooks the fact that relationships require work and nurturing, things that we never learn how to do. It would be like looking at a garden, seeing a bunch of weeds and just being like, well, that's a write-off because there are weeds, without realizing it needs care and attention, and then it can bloom. So in my experience, many people who resonate with the don't settle message or get that advice from friends, they fully embrace it. And when I say many people, I am totally including myself in that. This is how I used to be in the past. So what this looks like is we're unhappy in our relationships. There are so many things that we wish that our partner would do differently that would lead us to feeling happy and fulfilled and connected and so much more. And then we get the advice, don't settle. And we're like, heck yeah, I deserve more. I absolutely do. Because we want our partner to meet our needs, show up the ways that we would like. We want them to apologize, to work on their unhealthy patterns, to show interest in us and the things that we like, and so much more. But here's the kicker. We aren't even doing those things ourselves for them. I know that it can be so challenging to look at your own unhealthy patterns or even see them and how you're contributing to what's not working in your marriage. I say this with so much compassion and love and a whole lot of knowing because this is exactly where I used to be. I listened to that messaging of things shouldn't be this hard. He won't change. Don't settle. And I never took a close look at myself until we broke up. Only then did I see how I had been feeding our negative cycles. Before, I would have told you that it was all him. I had been actually blaming and shaming and pointing out the things that he did wrong often, and so much more. Those are some of my old unhealthy patterns, and I still have unhealthy patterns because I am human. And something that makes this entire thing even more complicated is it is not only hard to see our own stuff, we also often think that we're doing all the things to make our relationship better. I used to tell my therapist, I'm the only one trying, I'm putting all the effort in, I'm reading relationship books, I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm listening to podcasts, I am doing the things that they say, I'm doing everything I can. When I finally got a relationship coach in a group coaching program on my own without my partner, as I've shared before, this was a pivotal moment in our relationship journey to realize not only how much I had been hurting him, but to realize that I hadn't been doing the right things that actually create change. This was mind-blowing, eye-opening, extremely painful. And my gosh, I literally thought that I was doing all the things, but I wasn't because we never learn how to do this stuff. So all of this that I'm sharing, this is why I worry about the advice, don't settle when people are struggling in their relationships. Again, disclaimer, can be the best option to get out of your relationship, of course, and it can also be a missed opportunity to dive into your own growth. Breaking up might result in, getting into another relationship, experiencing the honeymoon phase or that romance stage, and then eventually ending up back in the same place just with a new partner. This cycle tends to repeat until you choose to empower yourself and look at your own stuff. And this is coming from someone who did break up. I am so grateful that we got back together because that meant we got another chance, an opportunity for me to triple down on my own growth and get support. The ripple effect of getting a relationship coach on my own, that meant, oh my gosh, we started having a happier relationship. I started to see the changes in my partner that I've been wanting for so long, even though I was the only one working on things. And then eventually he dove into working on the relationship with me. And that's where we're at today. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe the relationship that we had and what we have today. And an example of how changing my unhealthy patterns resulted in him changing his was one thing is I started to get to know my triggers and my nervous system. So when he said something that triggered me, instead of getting defensive or shutting down pretty much every time, I started to recognize my trigger, pause, breathe, and then I would respond instead of react. That changed the whole dance in that moment. Because often when I did get defensive, then he would get triggered. He would react, and then it would be a back and forth argument between the two of us. Prior to seeing my own unhealthy patterns, I would have walked away from a fight like that and thought, he's such a jerk. Now, I could see my role and that I was being either dismissive or defensive. I wasn't taking any personal responsibility. The list goes on. We both played a role. So in those moments where I could pause and respond instead of react, our fight didn't spiral. He started to respond in softer ways. The way we communicated changed. And that's just one example. I had also been speaking my love languages to him and not speaking his. So he wasn't feeling loved or appreciated, even though I thought that I was killing it. So starting to get intentional with his love language resulted in him getting more intentional with mine, which is what I had always wanted. I could give you a billion other examples. I just have people ask all the time, how can one person really change things? So all of this to say, if you just long for a happier relationship with your wife, I 10 out of 10 recommend committing to your relationship growth and getting support from a relationship expert. Only then can you know that you are giving it your all and you get to see what happens as a result. The reason that I'm a relationship coach is because our relationship did a complete 180 and I knew that I had to support people who were struggling like I once was until I got a coach. And you can actually comment the word roadmap below and I'll share my free love journey roadmap with you. It breaks down pieces of the love journey process that I take my private coaching clients through, and it will really set you in the right direction. And if you'd like to go deeper, you can always email me to see if private coaching is the perfect fit for you. And I want to leave you with a really clear intentional action today. So if you're wondering, am I settling? You know exactly what to start asking yourself. Your intentional action is ask yourself, have I taken the time to look at my own patterns? Do I bring defensiveness, criticism, contempt, or shutting down into my relationship? Do I really know what those things are, what they look like? Am I actively working on these things in a way that I am certain is the actual way to grow and change them? Am I changing patterns? And am I actively doing things in our relationship to help it thrive? Have I consistently poured in love, attention, affection? Have I been giving my wife the things that I would love from them consistently? These are big questions. That was a lot. Hit rewind if you need to hear them again. This is such a great place to start just to get compassionately curious with yourself. You are so amazing, bringing so much love around your answers. These are growth opportunities. And you can check out the video on the screen to see what happened when I asked myself these questions and felt the weight of the answers and how I turned that breakdown into a breakthrough. I am sending so much love into your day. Remember, nothing changes if nothing changes. So pop a roadmap in the comments so I can share my free love journey roadmap with you. And let's have a super intentional week. Bye.